So some crazy SBCs have been leaked for Numero. On top of that, we've had loads of content in the last 24 hours and loads of investments down the line. But before we do go and start the video, if you guys are interested, I do offer a daily trading sub perk over on Twitch/Discord. All you gotta do is subscribe over on Twitch, which you can do for free with Amazon Prime. If not, it's £5, €5 or $6. In there, you'll get yourself access to the trading Discord with investments updated every single day. All the way to the 1st of February. We've got loads of different investments. We've got Meta, we've got fodder, we've got Evo, we've got out packs, we've got silver investments. There's loads and loads of stuff for loads of budgets if you guys are interested, and we do cover Xbox and Xbox, PlayStation and PC. But without further ado, let's go and talk about the content that has been dropped in the last 24 hours. So, or the leaks and everything that's come in the last 24 hours. The main and the most interesting stuff for you guys is going to be the brand new SBCs that have been leaked. We've got ourselves a Pedro Neto that's coming as a NumeroFUT card, and we've got ourselves a Lukaku who's coming as a flashback during NumeroFUT. So let's have a little talk about what sort of impact these players might go and have to the market, and yeah, what we think we've got. You know, what we can go and do. So start with Pedro Neto. Now, Pedro Neto is not looking to be too bad. I mean, the problem is this is just a predicted card. He might have better stats, but I'll be completely honest with you, more times than not, they do overestimate these cards just so they can obviously get the interactions on Twitter and so on. We get the game. But sadly, the card's not necessarily going to be as good. Now, EA can easily release him this good. This isn't a card that is heavily above the curve, but it's an interesting one if it is going to be overstated or not, because if we go and compare him to Palmer, which I think is a very comparable card, yeah, I mean the Palmer I guess as a cam's decent, but yeah, bear in mind they'll be playing relatively similar positions as they can both be played out wide, although Pedro Neto can be played as a striker and Palmer can be played as a cam. I do feel like the Pedro Neto might not be this good. I feel with that pace shooting and dribbling combo, yeah, unless they go and make him like a 300-400k SBC, in which then he probably wouldn't be that demanded. I'm not quite sure if the card's going to be overestimated. Or if they've given him finesse, which obviously would be a highly desirable playstyle plus, and he's not guaranteed to get that. They're going to give him a plebby one. Although they did go and give tactical to the likes of Palmer. Well, if they go and drop the likes of Pedro Neto, what can we expect to go up? Well, if Pedro Neto is expected to go up, one of the main things we can expect to go up is going to be Bernardo Silva. This is because he's a brand new card. His card is already popular before Pedro Neto's come out. So we expect Bernardo Silva to do well. You expect him also to go and rise over the weekend. Now, it's a rare occasion, and I'm actually recording this video after Division Rivals, because you may wonder, well, when are we going to go and buy Bernardo Silva? Well, traditionally, we would have gone and bought Bernardo Silva today at, what would it have been, about 9 AM. But the weird thing is this Division Rivals, unlike normal Division Rivals, the market just went up with Division Rivals. Now, there's one or two reasons for this. One is that these players dropped a fair bit after the 100k pack yesterday, and two, which means, you know, they potentially have dropped everything they're dropping in, and now they're going to rise and rise and rise. Or two, which is what I think might happen, is I think because some of the Winter World cards did very well out of packs last week, like the likes of Skulls, like the likes of Xavi, I think you've had a lot of people looking to invest in these cards, and they've just bought them after Div Rivals. So I did a bit of research, and before Div Rivals, Bernardo Silva was coming out about 95k. About 15 minutes after Div Rivals, in which these cards are normally like 80 to 85k, he was still like 94k. So he didn't drop with Division Rivals whatsoever. So in my opinion, that is just him, I guess, not dropping because there's so many people looking to invest in his card. So I'm going to basically anticipate this card maybe dropping if we maybe go and get the Avalanche Evo tonight, or maybe dropping with the likes of marquee matchups. Because yeah, so far they haven't followed the normal trends, which is where these cards will drop about 10-20% after the likes of Division Rivals. So yeah, bit iffy on the likes of investing in Bernardo Silva, especially as he's in packs. But the second player who goes and links up to him is the likes of Diego Dalot. Diego Dalot is out of packs. I think he currently fits an Evo. We'll talk a little bit later in the video why there's maybe a bit of a risk with Diego Dalot, but Dalot out of packs can be pretty decent. Again, getting a strong link to the likes of Neto. So the second SBC that has been leaked is Lukaku. Now, the weird thing with Lukaku is his sort of card isn't the most desirable in the game, but he's had some popular Evos. His Inform in the past has done pretty well for Evos because, again, he's had quite a desirable card. I think it's because sometimes in the Evos, everyone ends up with the same sort of stats. So people are like, well, I'd prefer to have these stats on a massive player like Lukaku, rather than having these stats on a weaker player. Because if they've got 90 or dribbling and 90 or pace, well, you might as well go for the more favourable body type. And I think in that way, how Lukaku can end up being some of the more, well, one of the more demanded Evo cards. Well, moving over to his SBC, again, no guarantee this is his SBC. And I'll be honest with you, unless he comes out very cheap or 5-star skills or something like that, I can't see this card being that desirable. Well, if Lukaku is desirable, what do we have in terms of links? Well, firstly we have his Craver, but this is a really bad investment, and the reason this would be a really bad investment is because we're waiting on a price range update. But if he gets a price range update, goes down to about 15k, well then you can maybe see him being a good investment for the likes of Lukaku. The second player, again, he needs a price range update, is David Neres. David Neres is arguably the best Lukaku link investment, with playing none of Lukaku's positions, but playing all the positions around him. But yeah, again, we need a price range update. This guy has been spammed at minimum since like day 2 of him being in packs. So yeah, sadly nothing there. Player number 3 that can work is Buongiorno. Now, we're going to talk a little bit later in the video why maybe centre-backs are a little bit risky, but Buongiorno is probably looking at the best current investment for the likes of Lukaku. The only problem is every day Lukaku doesn't come out after Friday, you're probably going to see Buongiorno drop and drop and drop because, you know, that's kind of what just happens over the weekend. So the problem is there's really no risk-free way of investing in the cards, and on top of that, there's no guarantee that Lukaku's even demanded. Let's play, we've got his Charles Kettler. Someone in my chat was talking about him. I don't actually think this guy would be a great investment, just because I think there's way better players. I think some of the players I've shown you already are better. We then move on to Di Lorenzo. I think Di Lorenzo isn't looking too bad. Now, the reason Di Lorenzo isn't looking too bad is because this card has been made relatively rare, because it's been, you know, team weeks have all been put into upgrade SBCs. Well, as a result of him being made relatively rare, if Lukaku's well demanded, we might actually go and see him rise nicely, because previously, if let's say there's a Napoli link, there'd be easily enough supply. You know? I mean, he would have been spammed at like 12k. But now that they've all been put into SBCs, an increase in demand is going to make their price rise a lot more, because there's a lot less supply to eat up the demand. So Di Lorenzo could actually be pretty decent. Only worry is, again, he's a right back. I'm going to talk a little bit later why right backs and centre backs are a little bit of a worry. But those are the SBCs that are leaked. Let's talk about the SBCs that came out yesterday. We went and got ourselves a New Year kickoff. I mean, I'm sure people have something to complain about, but it was a 4k SBC that gave you a tradable 100k pack. You literally couldn't lose coins unless you were just, I don't know what sort of idiocracy you'd have to somehow lose coins on this, but it's a Peggy 3. Don't question the player base too much. And then on top of that, we went and got ourselves the likes of a campaign mix player pick, and again, it came in at about 46k, gave you 186. It gave you a choice of one of 3 86 Total Rush, Centurion, or Thunderstruck cards. And again, probably not insanely desirable, but a nice upgrade SBC to have 3 of the week. Didn't really see any rise on fodder for that. Where there was decent demand was the likes of Cody Gakpo. He ended up with a really, really nice looking card. Let's go and show you that card right now. So start off talking about the playstyles he got. He's got himself the Quick Step Plus, which is nice. He's got Press Proven, which is nice. He's got Tactical, which is nice. He's got Incisive Pass, which is lovely. And he's got himself Finesse Shot. So he's got, you know, he's got the playstyles everywhere that you kind of want to go and have these playstyles. Not too sure if he's really, I mean, at 6'2", maybe we take Aerial, but apparently they're nerfing Aerial anyway, so do not worry. He can go and play as a striker, if we can go and grab his rolls. He can go and play as a false 9, as a plus, if not a poacher and an advanced forward. Advanced forward and would definitely be more desirable, but again, you know, it's still not too bad. And he plays as an inside forward as a winger, but I'd imagine with the 88 pace, and being 6'2", maybe not the most desirable winger in terms of being a little bit clunky. Other than that, his stats are looking very good. He's got himself 4-star skills, 5-star weak foot. Well, what's that done to the market as a result of him coming out? Well, interestingly enough, Van Dijk, who I'd say is the most mainstream link investment to the likes of Gakpo, went down. Now, the reason he kind of went down is because of that 100k SBC we talked about earlier. So basically, he was supplied at the exact same time he was demanded. So, yeah. Nothing really too crazy going with Van Dijk. He did, of course, have a rebound because there was a bit of demand, but yeah, nothing too crazy. More interestingly, the cards that are out of packs is what we were kind of more interested in as an investment. De Ligt, we can see before the Evo, was going for about 145 on average. Well, he's up to 155 in favour of the rise all weekend. Trent was an interesting one because, of course, Trent actually went and got a team of the week, and we were a little bit worried, is this team of the week going to replace this one? Well, it didn't, partially because this card can play as a CDM. Trent, before he came out, was 100, and he's now up to 115. Van de Ven, another card that we kind of liked as an investment. 145 before Gakpo came up, now rising up to 160. On top of that, he did go out of packs yesterday because he was re-released as the best of. This Van de Ven we liked till about 81k before he came out. Well, he has gone from 81k and he's up to 88k. And again, these cards are all favoured a rise up until Friday. So we saw that some of his link investments did well, especially those out of packs. But how did the cards that he replaced do? Well, obviously, we're mainly looking at Premier League strikers. And before he was out, Havertz was about 156. Havertz is still 160. So really wasn't too phased. Isaac, before he came out, was 295. He did go down to 255, but is back up to 280. So again, temporarily a little bit phased, but nothing too insane. Yesterday, again, Son was 190 before he came out, went down to 186, back up to 200. So basically, anyone that was maybe went down 5-10% has kind of recouped the vast majority. Interesting enough, a lot of the best link investments to Gakpo were also players who played in his position, such as Diaz and Chiesa. Well, how did these cards react? Well, before he came out, he was 55. He then went down to 55, and now he's kind of rebounded to 57. So wasn't too phased, and I guess has been using those all positions. Chiesa was 128 before he came out, and is now going for about 135. I think this has definitely hindered the rise of Chiesa. Also, the Evo yesterday that Chiesa fit, I think, has hindered the rise of Chiesa. But yeah, still think he can continue rising going into Friday. On the topic of the Evo, we talked about it in previous videos, how we thought there was an Evo that was going to come out that was it maximum 85 rating with like one position, or max 2 ult positions, and that came out. It was maximum 85 rating, maximum 94 pace. We literally called these two requirements. We did think there might have been maximum 3 ult positions which didn't come into place, but it doesn't matter too much. Now, the upgrade Sandy was underwhelming, which is why all the cards that we thought might have done well didn't really do that well, because the reality is no one cared. So, yeah, we got Tonali. Tonali, again, gets himself a nice all-round boost. It was kind of like we expected to see a lot more of an offensive boost, with it being a skill moves and a weak foot, but really it was an all-round boost. We saw defending, physical, and, so on and so on getting boosted, which is why Tonali was one of the most popular, but still not really that popular. Before the Evo 3.1, post the Evo 3.4. Emre Can, again, another card that's been nice to go and put into some combos. Kind of ends up with 85 plus all stats, but no one really cares. Before the Evo 12, post the Evo 13. So nothing too crazy going on right there. Now, the topic of Evos, there is another Evo leak to go and come out. Presumably not today. And the reason we've got one presumably not coming out today is because there is a Attacking Avalanche 2 apparently meant to come out, although apparently EA is having bugs, which is why they can't release it. But because the Attacking Avalanche is obviously a Winter Wildcard Evo, we do imagine it might be today. Again, I know as much as you guys, but if it's a Winter Wildcard Evo, it seems a bit weird them dropping it down the line unless they're going to go and rename it. So, yeah, if we do expect that, we do expect that today, which means I wouldn't necessarily expect the centre-back or / right-back Evo. So, obviously, I've referred to it a few times in today's video that you've got to be a little bit careful with your centre-backs and right-backs because of this Evo. Well, this is the newest Evo, I guess, that has been that's been announced or leaked or whatever. It seems that you can go and use yourself, well, you can go and use Simakan, you can't go and use Sule, you can't go and use Turan, you can go and use Bellavona, and that's, I believe, all we have at the moment, unless he's gone and released any more players. No. So what can we get from this? Well, we can get from this that the players he said can be used are all right backs. He said that the players that can't be used, which are right backs, are ones that are CDM or have 2 role pluses. So what we can go off the presumption of this is we can go off the presumption that you can go and use I've got the requirements here, is that you can use a player up to 86 rated who is a right back, who he's only said yes to players who have a maximum of 90 pace so far, also a max of 81 dribbling, a max of 86 defending, a max of 85 passing, and a max of 86 physical. I'd also imagine no CDM, and also I can't guarantee that you can use players that can play left back because he hasn't said yes so far to anyone who's got an old position left back, and I feel like if they're blocking CDM, they might be blocking left back. So the players that I anticipate might be some of the most desirable. If you can go and use left back, I can imagine Zambarotta doing very well. Apart from that, it's yeah, you're basically looking. I mean, Koundé and Araujo are looking quite nice because, of course, both of these have that centre back utility, and both of them are semi-demanded card. I think the Alex Scott is quite an interesting card to potentially go and fit the Evo. Inform Di Lorenzo, I said earlier actually, is a bit of a worry. This actually would work in your favour. Someone who can both fit the Evo and as a link investment to Lukaku. We do like dual utility. Cole Walker potentially being able to go and fit the Evo, which is nice. What other cards do we have in right here? Now you've got to be a little bit careful with some of these because of course he's got himself 2 positions. We don't know what EA is allowing us regarding positions. Marcos Llorente, again, would kind of be surprised if he fit with him having 3 alt positions. Kalulu could be another one for him. Fitting obviously centre back and right back and under the current ones. And we know this card is obviously very rare, so if you wanted like a high risk investment, you can go Kalulu. What I would say about buying any of the more expensive cards, I mean, even when I say that, it could be like Kyle Walker's, Arahio and Conde. Every day we don't get this Evo, they should drop. Because these cards traditionally drop on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as people finish up Weekend League and these players are packed and no one's really buying them. So, yeah, you can go and buy these cards, but again, you know, you can never really go and buy these Evo cards risk-free. It's kind of like a bit of a risk, a bit of a reward if the Evo is well demanded. Other leaks we've got is who's in the up-and-coming Pro team tomorrow. So far he's leaked that we've got Lewan, Camavinga, Neto, we know is an SBC, Tar, Vlahovic, Goretzka, James Rodriguez. Again, there doesn't really seem to be much coordination with what players and why they've picked them. They're kind of all over the shop in terms of, I guess, age and, you know, positions and whatever. How will these guys do out of packs? Obviously, next week we're going to get an Icon SBC on the Sunday, so you can look at some fodder as an investment there. But yeah, apart from that, no real meta players going out of packs. And I think that kind of wraps it up, other than also news that we've got ourselves some NumeroFUT players coming in the likes of rewards. Like I said earlier about the Bernardo Silva as well, we anticipated the market to go and drop with division rivals, as in stuff that's in packs. It didn't drop with division rivals, so if you have bought any winter wildcards, I'd be careful, because we've kind of got irregular trends, and because we've got irregular trends, there's no guarantee we get the normal trend of them rising to the Friday. It might be that they go and drop later today, or they maybe go and drop at 6 PM. So just a quick heads up regarding what's going on in the market. Other than that, the market is favourite to go and rise till Friday, 8 to 10 PM. That is the new peak of the market, which used to be Thursday evening, Friday midday. It's now Friday evening. But that's going to be that. Thank you very much for watching. We'll have episode 2 of 0 to a million coins in 20 hours, up in a few hours' time. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.